The problem states, write the prime factorization of the number 432. So, what prime factorization means, all the prime factors of 432 that when we multiply gets 432. So, prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and so on. Prime numbers are numbers that the factors are 1 and itself. That's the only factor. So, for 2, the only factors of 2 is 1 and 2. The factors of 3 is 1 and 3. And factors of 5, 1 and 5. Meaning 1 times 2 gives you 2, 1 times 3 gives you 3, and 1 times 5 gives you 5, and so on. So that's what prime numbers are. So for this problem, we have to figure out all the prime numbers that multiply to get 432. Easy way to start is we're going to do like a factor tree. Right? We're going to go down until we finish all the prime numbers. So to start, we could start off with a prime number. We pick 2. And I know that 2 is a factor of 432 because the rule is if the last number of the number is an even numbers being 2, 4, 6, or 8, if this number ends in one of these numbers, also including 0, that this number is divisible by 2. So I know 2 is one of the factors. Now we have to figure out what the other factor is. So we can easily just divide 432 by 2 to get this number. So let's do that. So let's divide. So how many times is 2 going to 4? 2. 2 times 2 is 4. We subtract. 4 minus 4 is 0. Bring down the 3. We get 3. So now how many times is 2 going to 3? Only once. So 1 times 2 is 2, subtract 3 minus 2 is 1, bring down the 2. Now how many times is 2 going to 12? 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12. We subtract, we get 0. So there's no remainder. So 432 divided by 2 is 216. And now one of the factors is a prime number. So we can circle that. So this part of the factor tree is done. Now we gotta continue with this number. So again, we see that this ends in 6, one of the even numbers. So this is divisible by 2. Now we have to figure out the other number. So again, we're gonna divide 216 by 2 to get the other factor. So how many times is 2 going to 2? Once. 1 times 2 is 2, we subtract, 2 minus 2 is 0, bring down the 1. Now how many times is 2 going to 1? 0 times. So because it doesn't, so 0 times 2 is 0, subtract, we get 1 minus 0 is 1, bring down the 6. How many times is 2 going to 16? 8 times. 8 times 2 is 16, subtract, we get 0. So 216 divided by 2 is 108. Now we see one of the factors of this number is 2, one of the even numbers, so we can circle that. Now we continue with the factor tree again with this number. So again we see that it ends in an even number, so one of the factors is 2. And we have to figure out again what the other number is by doing 108 divided by 2. So how many times does 2 go into 10? 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. Subtract, we get 0. Bring down the 8. How many times does 2 go into 8? 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. Subtract, we get 0. So no remainder, so 108 divided by 2 is 54. Again, this is a prime number, so we can circle it. And we continue with the factor tree of 54. So again, 54 ends in 4, one of the even numbers. We know one of the factors is 2. Now we're going to subtract 54 by 2. 2 goes into 5 twice. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract, we get 1. Bring down the 4. We get 14. how many times does 2 go into 14? 7 times. 7 times 2 is 14. Subtract, and you get 0. So 54 divided by 2 is 27. One of the numbers is prime number, so we can circle that. We continue with 27. So 27 ends in 7, which is not an even number. So 2 is not going to be one of the factors. So we can move on to another prime number, 3. And to know if 3 is a factor of 27, there's a rule. If you add up 2 and 7, right? If we add up 2 and 7, we get 9. The rule is if you add up the numbers and you get either 9 or 3, the number is divisible by 3. So since it adds up 2 plus 7 is 9, if it adds up to 9 or 3, we know it's divisible by 3. So 3 is one of the factors. So 3 times what gives you 27? And we know 3 times 9 gives you 27. So prime number, 3 is a prime number, so we can circle this. And we continue here. 9, factors of 9 is 3 times 3. So now we add to 3 and 3, these both are prime numbers, we can circle them. And once we finish the factor tree, we finish the prime factorization of the number. So now, to write it out, we just count up how many 2's we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 2's. So it's going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And then 3's, 1, 2, 3, 3 3's times 3 times 3 times 3. So the prime factorization of 432 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. And the answer is B.